Hey everyone, this is Luminous coming to you guys with a pro Dota commentary. This commentary is affiliated with DC, and for more commentaries content, check us out on DotaCommentaries.com. Today I'm going to cast a game between MYM and Moscow 5. Now both these teams are very well known in the European scene, but before I want to talk about this game, I want to give a quick shout out to a couple things that's been happening in the Dota scene lately. Now first, if you haven't been checking my show, you're missing out. Well, I think you're missing out. Yeah, go check it out. It's more infos in the comments. Like it's my face. So the second thing I want to check out is that there's a new cool blog. It's called a Dota Highlight blog. And what that is, you guys are familiar with Sports Center, right? Or any kind of like sports related show. Well, the creator of this blog basically took an entire game, entire replay, and only got like the important stuff in it. So for example, the kills, the first bloods, tower taken down, racks, team fights, and taking everything else out. So let's say you don't have a time to watch a 1 hour replay, but you kind of still want to know what happened. So I guess it's kind of like a low calorie version of a commentary or a replay by yourself. But I think it has a lot of potential in terms of a different form of entertainment, a different form of information outlet. So I'll put the link to that blog under this post as well. It's worth checking out. Just kind of give it 5 minutes to see whether you like kind of that kind of thing and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. And I think that's it for the shoutouts. Okay, enough of that. Let's go back to this game. This is MYM versus Moscow 5. I believe this is for Farm for Fame. Not 100% positive in that. We have MYM on Sentinel and the Moscow 5 on Scourge. As you know, Moscow 5 is formerly known as DTS. Well, DTS split, and then now we have Moscow 5 and Garage. And now it's on the third ban for Moscow 5. Now, in my last commentary, which was that epic 90-minute game, I kind of found out that my energy level is not exactly at the 100%, so I want to make a formal apology. Not exactly my best cast. So in this one, I'm going to do a little bit different. Hopefully that will be an improvement overall. Now, generally, in most of my commentaries, I focus so much in strategic analysis, and I'm sure a couple of you guys do enjoy about that. But this game, I'm going to try to go back a little bit up to the roots, go back to the basics. And my reason for doing so is that, not everyone, is a frequent watcher of my commentary, and I understand that. And not everyone that watch commentaries are, at a very moderate or mid to high skill level where you understand every single item build, where you understand every skill build. And I think in Dota, it's not the most versatile game, but there's a lot of room for versatility, especially in skill builds, item builds. So in this commentary, I'm gonna spend a little bit more time than usual and talk about, hey, why is this person getting this item? Why is this person skilling his build this way? Why is that good? Why is that bad? What are some alternatives? And hopefully some of the newer players that are watching could learn something from that. And even if you're a more experienced player watching, I think you could actually, be like, hey, why is this build working and why is it not? Because from my personal experience, when I'm playing Dota, it's kind of a mindless. Oh, I'm playing Windrunner, gonna go get Windrun, and then Shackle Shot, and then max Power Shot by 7. It's pretty much mindless. But sometimes, hey, you might want to max Shackle Shot by 7. I don't know. There might be an occasion for that, or you might want to put a couple more points in a Windrun. You don't know. So in this game, I'm gonna focus a little bit more when the players are skilling their skills, and kind of just talk about that. That's gonna be my focus in this commentary. Don't worry, I'm not gonna do this for every single one of my commentary, but again, it's worth pointing out. Especially, I think it's gonna be a lot helpful to the newer players. But let's look at the picks so far. We do have Windrunner being first picked up by MYM, Scourge going back to the Doombringer, and the Spectre. Now, usually here I would spend time talking about the picks, but here, right now, I'm going to talk about the skill builds of each hero. So let's look at the Windrunner. Now, in my opinion, I think Windrunner is a little bit overrated. I don't think she's worth the first pick. Don't get me wrong, she's still a very good and versatile hero, but I think there's some other heroes that should precede the Windrunner in the first pick slot. But Windrunner, as I said earlier, I think the most common skill build, not common is, the most standard common skill build is that you get the Windrun at 1 and you get Shackle Shot at 2. You might get a Power Shot at 2 depending, and then you get Power Shot at 3, 4, 5. And the good thing about that build is that generally Windrunner is put in a long lane solo, so you want to maximize your survivability. When you can, you want to pick up the Power Shot to get a couple of creeps from afar and then get a couple of points of EXP. Now, when I say you might want to pick up Power Shot too, sometimes you just need to defend your tower. Let's say if they're aggressively pushing, then the Shackle Shot wouldn't be that helpful on that occasion, so you might sometimes see Power Shot level 2. So that's I guess the Windrunner skill build. Now for Doom, let's go Spectre. That's the pretty easier one. Spectre most likely skill or max the dagger by 7, and then you take dispersions whenever you want or whenever you can. Dispersion actually reduce damage you're taking, so that's pretty good. Now I have seen some players, some more aggressive players, take Desolate, which is actually a more aggressive build, and I think that works out in several occasions. But the most standard build is going to be the Spectral Dagger and Dispersion. Now going back to the Sentinel here, we have Crystal Maiden and a Pugna, and actually going back to the pick analysis real fast, we have pretty good pushing so far from MYM. 3 intelligence picks so far. There's a lot of versatility in this current lineup. Of course, Pugna can tri-lane, Pugna can solo. Same thing with the Windrunner, can tri-lane or solo fairly effectively. So in terms of the laning and in terms of lane harassment in general, they are going to be exceptionally well. Now for the Crystal Maiden, I think I talked about Crystal Maiden many times in the past. You know, the most common build that we've seen in guides that we heard of is maxing the aura by 7. I believe I spent a couple points in previous commentary saying that I don't think that's the correct and the most efficient build. I think the most efficient build is maxing Nova by 7. Take aura, you know, at 2 and 4. Maybe at 3 and 4 if you want to take your bite at level 2. Taking bite at level 2 means you're going to be a little bit more aggressive to look at the kill, try to get kills. If you don't really care about getting kills, let's say if you're playing a defensive tri-lane, then taking the aura at 2 might be better. So you guys kind of get what I feel about taking maxing Nova by 7. I believe it's probably one of the best skills in the game, not even gonna lie, because it's around 1000 range. Huge amount of AoEs, and AoE slow for 5 seconds. It's just ridiculous if you just look at the stuff on paper. So it's not a hard hero to skill, so never mind that. Now the next hero, the Pugna, definitely a very versatile and definitely a very hard hero to skill. We have seen, you know, of course Pugna always max blast by 7, which is no contest there. But the thing is, like, do you skill your ward or do you skill Decrepify? Both skills are very, very good. Now, if you watch Nebulous Pugna Daily, he spends, you know, an hour talking about why you should skill this skill and why you should skill that skill. Now, a low-calorie version of this is that whenever you want to play pushing, it's probably better to skill that ward. If you want to picture this scenario in your mind, whenever there's a big siege on a tower, you know, your 5 guys are on one side, their 5 guys on the other side, having the ward maxed at that occasion is going to be very good because they're constantly going to suck their mana. And also, in these kind of long drawn out fights, it's all about the long range spells, it's all about the big AoE spells, which the ward can damage them a lot. The Decrepify in that case is not going to be that useful because unless it's a big engagement clashing out, you're not going to be able to use your Decrepify many times. So of course you want to take life drain whenever you can, but in a very pushing lineup, I will actually max ward by 8 and then take lifesteal at 9. That's what I would do. But now in a more ganking lineup, then you definitely want to take it to Decrepify. Let's say if you have a Sven, Lina, Pugna kind of lineup, then you definitely want to pick Decrepify. But obviously that's not the lineup that Milk's going for. If you want to look at the picks, Milk's going to go for extremely pushing lineup. Undying kind of gives it away. Meanwhile, Scourge, they have pretty good defense. The only AoE so far is the Shaker. They do have Chen. That's not a bad defender as well. Meanwhile, Enchantress being picked up. Now, some of these last heroes being picked up, it's the skill build's fairly standard, and there's not much variation. Such as Enchantress, you want to take Enchant whenever you can. You skill, you heal. Sometimes you want to get a level untouchable. No big difference there. Same thing with Chen. You want to take, you know, high levels of Test of Fate. Get a couple of level Penance and what's that last? Holy Persuasion. So you max Holy Persuasion, you get high levels of Test of Faith, you know, Penance, Hand of God, whenever you can. So those skill builds are fairly standard. Now the last hero, and I believe it's the hero I personally have a lot of difficulty in skilling, is the Undying. Like, all of his skills are really, really exceptionally well. I mean, they do very good for whatever you want them to do. As you know, the Soul Rip, the heal, or the damage, it's a 500 damage. That's the highest amount of non-ultimate nuke, and it's also the highest amount of non-ultimate heal in one single instance. I don't think any other spell outdo that spell. So it seems like you want to max that spell by 7. But also you gotta keep in mind the Soul Rip depends on having 20 units, 20 enemy units, or 20 units nearby. And in very early stages of the game, you're not gonna have that amount of units. So you kind of have to pair that with a Tombstone. And that's where kind of makes the skill build a little bit harder to skill up. And we see all 10 players, for everyone that's watching live, I am at the 5:58, 9:58, 10, 10:01, 10:02, 10:03. So making sure you're synced up. So getting back to Puck Knight here. Excuse me, not the Puck Knight, the Oblivion. Not the Oblivion, the Undying, damn it. Yeah, it's definitely very hard to skill because you want to pick up high levels of Tombstone, and it's a very effective skill, especially in the earliest stages of the game where they can't kill your Tombstone. But you also want to get a lot of levels of Rip, So Rip, because it's just simply an awesome nuke and an awesome heal. So that makes him a little bit difficult in terms of skilling. And let's see what Mania is going to do this game. Let's introduce a player here. Melk on his Oblivion, Pusher on the CM, Mania on the Undying, and I believe this is Playmate on the Winner and Demon on Enchantress. Shout out to Trace for telling me that. Meanwhile, Scourge Red on his Chen, NS on the Shaker, G God on the Doombringer, God on the Doom, kind of oxymoronic, right? Izard on the Clockwork, and then Light of Heaven on the Spectre. Now, one thing I want to point out so far in this game is that you see that Navi, or no, excuse me, not Navi, Moscow 5 is having 3 wards already placed down, and these 2 wards in the jungle means that actually the Scourge team, they expected the Sentinel Tri-Lane to be a bottom lane. So like, okay, well, you know, our clock's gonna be okay against the Tri-Lane, but we don't want them to pull, and we don't want them to gank our clock. So they expected the Tri-Lane to be a bottom lane. That's why they warded these camps. That's why they spent 2 wards at bot lane. But unfortunately, they guessed a little bit wrong, and they're going to face a dual lane. Very interesting. A dual lane of Undying and Crystal Maiden top with the Enchantress offensive jungling. And I kind of understand why the Scourge was thinking about this, because generally you don't ever see this kind of lane. Enchantress, it's just not that aggressive of a hero where you want to put her in an aggressive jungle. Yes, she can be very aggressive with the creeps, but in the trade-off, she could die very, very easily. And also, if you're jungling like this, it's just such a high-risk move, because you never know when the 2 supports of the Tri-Lane are going to be missing. And there's going to be a Shaker Spectre. Keep in mind, this is a dual melee in the top with the Chen trying to gank. And Chen does have a creep. Now, one thing I want to point out is that Demon has placed a very aggressive wards. And that means that he understands that the Chen is going to be in the defensive jungle. And he want to F him up pretty hard. So having that ward definitely helps out there. These 2 melee lanes going to have a difficult time. If Pusher knows what he's doing, and he does, he will have an easy time harassing him. The reason that he's actually staying so far back is that these 2 guys are knowing that their Chen is missing in the jungle, so they're going to stay back and play a little bit defensive. Now, we're going to see very interesting fights of these 2 guys taking over each other's creep, and we are going to see Centaur being taken over. There's a Stomp, and Chen might be in trouble. Here comes a Spectral Dagger. Crystal Maiden's coming in as well. There's that net from the Troll, that Dominate coming in a little bit later, and they are going to get a first blood, and that's Demon picking up a very easy first blood by the with the help of Crystal Maiden. Now, one thing about Enchantress and Chen, whenever you take over enemy creeps, it doesn't matter if that creep's skills are on cooldown. It doesn't matter if it's not a full mana. If you dominate a creep, or if you wholly persuade a creep, the cooldown will reset and the mana will go back to full. So even I believe the Chen used a Stomp on the Centaur. Once Demon takes it over, this cooldown resets, and then you could just, that's why you could get some very low-Z action. And now, like, there we go, takes over and then it stomps immediately in the jungle. But no harm done. Enchantress already have to pick Boots of Speed picked up. I think she actually started out with Boots first and Healing Salve. This is definitely a very aggressive build. And now we see a lot more items being ferried to the Enchantress. Picks up the Invis Rune. Let's see if she can make anything done here. Shaker comes around in the jungle. Doesn't have too much of anything. Actually, I think he bought Salve. He bought Wards and Chicken. Keep in mind that the Moscow 5 has spent, you know, I think 400 gold ward in the beginning of the game. And this lane, I'm not too sure what Dread was thinking when he was picking this lane, but in terms of passive harass, the Crystal Maiden is definitely going to outdo the Shaker and the Spectre because they're both melee. So I'm not exactly too sure what that's about. And yes, I was saying that we're going to pay a little bit more attention to the skill build. I believe the Doom just have skill level 1 level death at level 4. So that means that he has taken 1 Devour and then 2 Scourge. That's definitely non-standard. So we see Shaker actually missing the Stomp, missing the Fissure, and they might actually let Enchantress get away here. Enchantress does have level 1 heal so far. Cancel the Clarity. Actually, I believe that's level 2 heal. My bad. Yeah, that's level 2 healing Judging from the Wisp, I think that's level 2 heal. So that's, again, that's non-standard, because in my position, I definitely would take in enchant a level 3. Personally, because I just want to have a lower cooldown of enchant. I want to use it for more of a ganking purpose. But Demon, I think that's a smart adjustment. He knows that he's going to be offensive jungling, and the risk of ganking is very, very high. In that essence, a level 2 heal at level 3 definitely saved his life. So you can see that, yeah, Dota is a very game that doesn't change a lot in terms of skill build, but depending on how you play the game, you can make Dota a very, very versatile game. I think players in this game are definitely showcasing that. Power Shot level 3, that's the standard build by the Windrunner. And Windrunner is going to have a fairly easy time against the Clockwork, being that she's ranged, Clock's melee. He out nukes the Clock as well, so Windrunner is going to have a fairly easy time. As we see, Doombringer has Scourge Earth level 3. I want to say that's Scourge Earth level 3. I'm guessing that's Scourge Earth level 3 because he has prioritized it. Tombstone level 2 at level 4. So far, I think that's Brilliance Aura level 2 at level 4. So, I apologize if you guys are not really used to this kind of commentary where I put a lot more emphasis on skill build. But again, going back to the beginning of my commentary, I want to pay a closer attention to this. Now we have a double damage coming in to gank on that Shaker. Shaker take a stop and that double damage Enchantress with the boots of speed. This Shaker is going to go down for sure. And I'm a little bit confused by that because Shaker definitely saw this. If you want to look back to the river spot, they definitely had a ward over there. So they know there's a rune. They know the double damage was picked up by Enchantress. So I'm a little bit surprised that the Shaker still got ganked in that instance. And actually losing that lane, Spectre has forced to go back because she's absolutely has no HP left. And this lane at top lane, I think is thoroughly won by interestingly a dual lane of an Undying and a Crystal Maiden. Generally, you don't expect this lane to do well at all, but I think because they went up against dual melee, that's why it's pretty easy for the Sentinel. Sorry. Anyways, Shaker has came around to help the Chen. Here's the thing about Chen versus Enchantress, right? Enchantress has a relatively shorter cooldown compared to the Holy Persuasion, and that's why Enchantress in the earlier stage of the game can just outdo the Chen. And now Demon's playing a little bit baller. He has a great Fissure, and now we see the creeps and a couple of heroes on that Enchantress. Enchantress might be in trouble. Meanwhile, in the mid lane here, we got a kill on Milk, probably just off to a good Doom and then a good Scourge Earth chasing it. And now we have Enchantress might be in trouble. Shaker's cooldown on the Fissure is going to be coming. There we go. Great block on the Enchantress. Now Doom comes in, so Doom might be picking up a kill. He is going to pick up no, Dread picks it up, but Doom just got, 1 kill, 1 assist in span of 30 seconds. So good movement by the Doom, realizing where his teammates are and where the enemy is. So far, God is playing an awesome game, picking up a kill and assist. Now, level 6 minutes, we have Shaker picking up a regen. Should go pick it before the Pugna. Pugna does have an urn and a belt of giant strength finish. Whoa, Shaker, come on, go. Well, all right. This guy just Milk trying to destroy the rune, and he actually hits a Shaker to cancel. That's pretty cute. That's pretty cute. But Shaker did regenerate enough for 1 Fissure. Now, this item build on Oblivion is definitely non-standard. Generally, we see Oblivions going for more mecha kind of build. Rush mecha, rush treads, but I think in this case here, Milk realized that Doom is going to be a very dangerous target. Pugna doesn't have the highest strength growth. I think he's like 1 point something strength growth, ridiculously low, and he needs as much HP as he get, and that's why he's going for the urns and belts of giant strengths for that extra HP. And that plus 12 strength, that's around 19 plus times 12. That's a lot of HP. That's like extra 200 something HP, almost 300 HP. So that will help him out the next time Doom goes on him. So that's a very smart item build. And now Enchantress is actually defensive jungling a little bit. Maybe he's looking for a push at the bot lane. I'm not too sure whether they could get it against the Clock now, but critically the Clock is leaving the lane right now. So we are seeing the Basilius turned on for Demon, and they're gonna make a go at the tower. Now we see that these two guys for Sentinel at the top lane is gonna back off accordingly because they know that it's gonna be a 3v2 situation if the Scourge team decides to jump. A lot of damage being done to the bot tower. Clock doing whatever he can. I think Doombringer just skilled Scourge Earth at level 4. Yeah, he did. Doombringer just skilled Scourge Earth at level 4. I'll talk about this as the game progresses, and generally the standard build is like, oh, we'll max our level def because it's our nuke, and I think it's definitely not a bad choice that he's skilling level Scourge for level 4. The first thing is that because Melk is getting ward level, yeah, he is getting ward level 4 by level 8. Because Melk is getting ward, you're gonna be losing a lot of mana. You're not gonna be able to level def a lot, and generally I think maybe he has adjusted his build a little bit by seeing what Melk was getting. It's like, hey, Melk is getting a lot of strength item. Maybe I won't be able to kill him at all. So there's really no point to try to kill him with level def. And also level def against your enemy solo mid hero, it's definitely very, very hard to match up the correct level of level def. So it's really not a, I mean, if you're aiming to gank a lot on slide lanes and they're gonna be a couple levels below you, then level def is a great spell to skill up. But against your solo mid enemy, the level, it just doesn't work out that well. So it doesn't surprise me all too much that Doombringer is maxing Scourge Earth at 4. And also, maxing Scourge Earth at 4 it's going to be pretty good against the Sentinel lineup. Let's look at what the Sentinel lineup is going to be doing. The Sentinel lineup is definitely going to be pushing. Undying's a great pusher, Pugnet's a great pusher, Rimmer not bad at pushing, CM and Enchantress, great pushers as well. So MYM's game plan is going to be pushing. Now, as you heard of in my previous commentaries, pushing is not just about lobbing all those AoE spells. It's not about lobbing, it's not about dominating creeps. Another huge thing about pushing is that having a hero to run at the enemy and just scare them back. That's why I think, like, Night Stalker is a great hero for pushing, Pudge, and in this game, in this case, Undying is going to be a great hero because once he lopped down the Tombstone, once he just turned into a Flesh Golem, as we see it gank in the jungle for the Chen. Chen might be in trouble. We're going to see a Tornado. Unfortunately, the Decay actually got the kill on him. So anyways, yeah, so once the Undying comes in with the Tombstone and whatnot, he could just drop it down, turn into Flesh Golem, and scare the entire Scourge team pack. And that's why Undying is a great pusher. Now going back to that Scourge Earth at level 4, Doombringer could do the same by himself. You try to push my tower, but I'm gonna turn on my Scourge Earth at level 4 and just run at you. What do? You could try to kill him and try to fight him, but because he has a passive regen from the Scourge Earth, and also because he's gonna be naturally tanky, yeah, he has a Vanguard finish now. He's gonna just be a beast to, Crystal Maiden, Pugna, I guess Undying, they're not the best nukers. They do have a couple of nukes on disposal, but they're not going to be the best nukers. So if you see a 1500 HP, a 1400 HP Doom running at you with a whole bunch of regens, it's going to be a very difficult in terms of taking him down. Now we see Doombringer going to the bot lane here. He does have Doom on cooldown most likely, and I think Demon might be going down here. Demon's going to take a Doom to the Faith and a level def, and now Doombringer is going to pick up yet another kill, and that's Garage picking up the kill. Let's see what skills he's going to be skilling. I don't think he has skilled anything for a while. Yeah, he might be holding a skill point. One cool way to play Doom, and I think it is some smart way to play Doom, is to actually hold on to your skill points. Because of the level def multiplier, you don't know when you actually need your skill points. Actually, we see Pusher doing some harass on the Spectre at top lane. Spectre not doing the best, but she is level 8. I don't think he has a lot of creep kills. Let me check. Actually has 28 creep kills. That's better than I expected. Pusher actually has 15 creep kills as well. 14 creep kills. That's definitely not bad. Mania has 36. So definitely the creep is going to advantage. Ooh, actually, if you were paying attention there, you saw the soul rip that was going on in Pusher. I think that was a level 1 soul rip. Maybe a level 2 soul rip, but that's a very, and as we see Doombringer skilling his level def in succession, and that's exactly what I meant. It's like, oh, I need a level 3, I need a max level level def to get the multiplier special damage because he saw level 9 Pugna, and that's why he just skilled both spells at the exact same time. And now those are the things that you don't see on the scoreboard, and you might be wondering, why is God playing such an exceptionally Doombringer? Can I try to play it like that in a pub game? You gotta, and that's again, I'll cover this at the end of team fight as we see a great nuke going off from the Chen here. Hand of God, and they might get a kill on the Enchantress. They do, and now this Flesh Golem might be in trouble. Can we have a Spectral Dagger? No, he's under the effect of a Spectral Dagger, so he's slowed down. Great hook from Clock, and great awareness by the entire Scourge team. That was like, that was a Pugna in the jungle, but that turned out into a huge scale team fight. And because of Scourge players' great map awareness, they all came in, and they basically got a team wipe against the Sentinel. That's very, very good. And it looks like Doombringer might get a tower denial as well. Wimrunner can't step too far forward in a fear of a level def and a Doom. So Doom's going to get a couple more creep kills and a tower deny. And a tower deny against a pushing team like this is just devastating. I was talking about Undying skill build. Actually, I've noticed that his level def, or excuse me, I've noticed that Soul Rip is not the most skilled thing in the game. So I'm guessing that's a level 1 Soul Rip or maybe a level 2 Soul Rip. And I mean, we all know here, Mania is twice, twice is an understatement. He's like way better as a player as I am. And if you don't believe so, go check out Commentary 95 where I played against Mania and Pusher, and that totally ass raped because Ian's just a bad guy, bad teammate. But anyways, they're gonna get a gank on the Pugna, and Pugna might be in trouble here. Pugna is going to go down to Dread. A little bit out of position, but great shackle shot. And who are they going to focus? They are going to focus on Chen. Chen goes down, and they're focusing on Clock as well. Demon doing quite a bit of damage, and that is the difference between Chen and Enchantress. Enchantress give you such a more mid-game DPS, and with that, they are going to transition into a mid-game push. These creeps going to go down, actually being dominated as well. And yeah, they're going to just mow down these creeps relatively quickly. But going back to the Undying skill build, not skilling Soul Rip, that's definitely a level 2 Soul Rip, but level 8, I think you should have maxed it by now. And here's the reason why you should max it. Again, in the pre-game intro, I've talked about Soul Rip is 500 damage. Yes, 500 damage in terms of a heal or a nuke. Now, I understand you might not reach your 500 cap, in every time you cast it. That's fine, but it's still a very respectable nuke, and you should, I believe you should max it up. And also, judging from how MYM is going to be playing, they're going to be pushing most of the time. And when you're pushing S5. You're not going to get a lot of EXP. Is what I'm trying to get at here for Mania. So you're going to see him at level 8, at level 9, level 10. For the remainder of the game, or for a good duration of the remainder of the game. Unless they get a rampage, or unless they get a team wipe, you're not going to see this Undying level a lot. And that's the problem with Undying with your best skill not maxed when you're starting the push. I don't know about that. That's definitely not what I would have done. This may be an MYM strat, that may be part of the strat. I think he has to actually put more skills in Decay. I think Decay is a great spell. As you level up, there's, I think the cooldown decreases, the damage increase. I think it's a great spell, but I wouldn't have put more emphasis on Decay compared to Soul Rip. So I definitely think that's a mistake there. But let's see how it plays out here. MYM pushes right now is unstoppable because they have Pugna, because they have Enchantress, and they have Undying. And they are going to just easily go through that tower. And I think they're going to make for high ground. Pusher actually last hits the tower. So I think Pusher was spamming the print screen key on his keyboard right now, because that's probably the first time he has ever gotten a last on the tower. Yeah, Enchantress comes in with a whole bunch of creeps, and they are going to go for high ground. I'm not too sure whether they could do it. And here's where the Scourge Earth level 4 is going to help out. You max it, you run in. And I don't think right now Sentinel does have... I don't think they would do enough damage to push the Doom back. And let's see how Moscow 5 is going to combat this. Everyone's teleporting in, and let's see who's going to be initiate. I think they might be waiting for a clock initiate, or they might be waiting for the Doom to initiate in. Tower goes down, Mel picks up the tower, and here we go. Doom is going to run in, Flesh Golem pops his ult, and there's that Doom, and now Flesh Golem's going to go down so very quickly. Spectre ult comes in, a lot of AoE damage, Hand of God goes off, Shaker in complete trouble. What is going on in the backline here? Actually, I think the Flesh Golem is going to die to Doom. Spectre is going to be okay, so she does have the Vanguard finish, and I believe that's it. Crystal Maiden very, very low. Spectre is going to get a free kill. I'm not too sure what the hell Pusher is doing, and now that entire push is defended. There is that, is that level 4? Yeah, that is level 4 award. But yeah, regardless, the Doom, look his HP. He ran in there with full 8. He was the one that doomed the Flesh Golem. He was the one that took the initial barrage of the spell. But because he had Vanguard, and because he has level 4 Scourge Earth already maxed, he just runs in and tank all of it, and he actually lost like 100 HP. Like, no big deal, nothing to it, like a boss. So I mean, that is the benefit of maxing Scourge Earth. Of course, in any situation, you should have maxed Scourge Earth at level 12 already. But let's say if this was a level 7 fight or level 8 fight, your Scourge Earth will still be very helpful. Now, going back to what I said earlier, keep in mind that the push is not just about AoE spells. It's not just about, having the ability to dominate creeps. A big part of pushing and defending pushes is also having a tank that could run in and draw fire, or just completely scare away the enemy team. And that's why, the Panduran Brewmaster is a great counter pusher, is a great pusher on his own, and that's why Doombringer in this essence also good in those cases. And they might get a gank here. They are going to focus on Winrunner being completely trapped. No, she actually has an avenue for escape. Doombringer needs to be careful a little bit as we see a huge conversion. I think the Sentinel team, sensing the urgency, yeah, they do it. We see teleportations grow, and they are all gonna be en route to the top lane here. Pusher has a great counter ward, and she actually picked up Django through those last hit on the tower, and that Django is going to be huge. I'm going to look forward to actually Pusher popping this Django in the coming team fight, because they definitely need every bit of attack speed, every bit of mobility against this Doombringer, and a good ward being placed by Pusher as well, observing what's going on top of the hill here. And we have the Doombringer sitting here, and keep in mind that MYM have no sight. Here we go, Doombringer is going to backstab. Let's see who's going to Doom. A great Fisher blocking off everything. Shaker comes in with a big hassle and a huge cluster. I don't even know what Doom doomed. And here Doom is probably going to clean up. There you go, Skirksher is going to outrun absolutely everyone. Who is going to focus? Moscow 5 so far winning in team right now, trying to block us. The Pusher actually still haven't activated Django. I believe that's a mistake. Should have activated Django once the team fight broke out. I think that's Pusher. Come on, man, Pusher, you're gonna be dying as well. No, they might be focusing on Enchantress. Rocket will hit Pusher. Extreme low HP, 40 70 HP. Should just try to TP out or pop your Django for Demon, man. Do whatever you can. He's gonna try to TP out, but Doom, here comes Doom. There's gonna be level death, and they are gonna get in the kill. That was an entire team wipe in the favor of Moscow 5, and I think the game just got a little bit out of reach for MYM. It might be a little bit too early to call it, because MYM still have great pushing heroes, but if you look at the level difference here, level 8 CM, level 9 Undying, level 12 Windrunner, level 7 Enchantress to a 14 Doom. Doom at this point of the game with 1800 HP, with was a 6 HP regen per second from the Vanguard. And then what, 4 more from the Doom. You're looking at 10 HP regen per second. He could just run in and tank your entire team, and he'd be fine. Look at Doom. He's mostly staying at 4 HP, even though he's initiating a big bulk of it. And he has a Blade Mail finish. Normally, I would be a huge... Like, I would just, like, go to town on this dude and be like, you know, you shouldn't get a Blade Mail because it's just not a good item. But in this case, it's just exceptionally well, because what can the Sentinel team do? Keep in mind the Doombringer right now, in this case, he's not going to try to kill your entire team. He's going to try to turtle, and he's going to turtle it very aggressively. He's going to just run in with Skircher, plop the Blade Mail, and what happens to your push? It's done. It's absolutely done. I mean, one thing about the Tombstone and one thing about that ward from the Oblivions, that you want to pop those spells down and you want to hold your ground there, because if you hold your ground, your Tombstone and your ward, it's going to give you a lot more advantage in the fight. But what Doom does is he scares you away, and when he does scare you away, the Scourge team is able to take away that ward and take away that Tombstone. So I believe this is such a good item choice by God, and he's going to run here. Milk, by the way, has that Necro book, and let's see who's going to be... There comes the Fisher, and do they have an Echo Slam? They don't, but there's a great Clock Hook, and they are going to get a couple here. There's a Doom on the Flesh Golem, and he can't cast any spell. There's a Hand of God going in, and Light of Heaven gets a couple. Moscow 5 is just winning that team fight, popping that Blade Mail. I don't think he even needed that Blade Mail. And that was a very high level of a that was a very high level of, what is that, test of, no, that is that test of faith? Yeah, that is test of faith. You don't generally max test of faith by 9. You just don't. Generally you max it by like 12, 13, or sometimes even get stats over it, because people think, when they write guides, people think that, oh, Chen's a support hero, you should max Penance. But Test of Fate, by the way, is a nuke, and in my opinion, you should always max nuke, and that's why I max nuke on Crystal Maiden, that's why I max Melodic on Witch Doctor. Yeah, not exactly the most standard way to play support, but I think just having more damage, having more nukes is just a great thing. And I'm happy to see that Dread agrees with me. They're going to make it go on God. I don't think it's going to work at all, because this guy has 1800 HP, 10 regens per 10 second HP regen per second. What did I say? 10 HP. You guys know what I mean. Whole bunch of HP regen per second. Mel comes in. I don't think I can get anything done. This guy also has a plate mail. He's going to go for Shivas or AC. In either case, it's going to be good. I think Shiva is going to be a lot better, because you want to just scare the enemy team away. And what other better way to do it is just pop that Shiva, slow everyone down, and just chase them like crazy. So I think God's skill build, if you look at everyone's skill build, I think everyone's just skilling their hero exceptionally well. I'm pretty sure Pusher maxes Nova by 7. I'm just giving him the benefit of doubt. Let me check his aura. Yeah, Brilliance aura level 3, level 8. So most likely he has max Nova by 7. Very aggressive build, good for a pushing strat. The only person I want to knock on, and he is one of my favorite player of all time, is Undying. He just turned 10. Let's see what he just skilled right now. Why are you maxing Decay is my question. When you max Decay, you get like a 5-second cooldown on your Decay, and that's great. You get to it. You are able to, well, in my opinion, it doesn't matter what he skills, because the Doom is going to be going on him, you know. So I guess it doesn't really matter. But in a fight where if you're not Doom, I think having a Soul Rip max would just allow you to accomplish a lot more. In the case that you're not doomed, as I miss a kill somewhere, but Milk dies in the jungle, so my bad for not catching that. You see a little bit of action going on. Pusher, what the hell? Pusher, what are you doing? This is the epitome of being out of position. Now here comes the Fisher. There's a Spectral Dagger and actually using just for the Crystal Maiden, and they are gonna get a kill. Spectre's gonna get the last. So if you look up out of position in the dictionary, Pusher would have been right there. But what was I saying? Yeah. So in the case that if you're undying and if you're not doomed, having Soul Rip allows you to do so much more than to be able to spam decay. Yeah, you can spam decay, you get a lot of strength. They lose a couple of HP. It's in my opinion, it's just not worth the trade-off of losing a humongous nuke or heal, which I'm sure MYM definitely need one of those right now. I haven't done a creep check in this game, and I do apologize for that. But I want to say, in this kind of big pushing games like that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many creep kills you got, because that's not the important thing. The important thing is checking the towers, which, by the way, MYM has a good tower lead because they're a pushing team. They have gotten all exterior tower while keeping most of their own. So in any normal game, I want to say they're winning. I want to say the Sentinel's winning because they have so many towers. But another telling tale is, look at the EXP, and I can't really check the EXP right now because we might have engagement. But I'm pretty sure Doom is the highest level thing in the map. And yeah, let me check real fast. Check. He's level 16. Spectre's level 16, and the highest for the Scourge is 14 and 12, and that's not gonna cut it for Sentinel. And I think this might be the last push, and they need to do something about this Doom. They need to catch him out of position and get a kill on him. Unless they do that, it's just not gonna work out. Unfortunately for Sentinel, though, they don't have exactly the best skanking squad. They don't have the Batwider, they don't have the Clockwork, or any kind of long range stun. The only thing they could really rely on is a Shackle Shot, which is definitely not the most reliable thing in the game. So it's going to be really, really hard for Sentinel to find some magical team fight. They're definitely not a good team fight lineup either. It's not a wombo combo team fight. All they are is just a good pushing lineup. And yeah, they're getting the push in, but I think it might be just a little bit too late here. As we see Doombringer, he's just absolutely fat. Like, he is, I mean, wow, this thing is just fat. Here comes a smoke initiation. Who are they going to focus? Their Crystal Maiden might be sure. Great Fisher blocking off everything. Here's that Tombstone. Doombringer goes to Doom on the Flesh Golem once again. Great target. Here comes the Spectre. Is that the... Yes, is that Radiance? That is Radiance finish. 25 minutes in against a pushing lineup with only like 28 creep kills, 10 minutes in the game. Yeah, that's light of heaven for you, and this is going to be the game for sure. Milk's going to do some cute live stream. He wished he was Star Spoba Rekka, but unfortunately he's white. And he's not Rekka. Yeah, so now we have what's going on here. Windrunner's gonna be fine. And Demon's gonna find a real demon after him. He's like, please, I love Russia. Oh my god, Demon. I love her. I didn't do anything wrong. I think G's gonna be called anytime soon. Yeah, this game is a little bit out of reach already. And yeah, MYM, look, they're up like 4 towers. They're up 5 towers. Here comes a GG by Milk. Yeah, they're up so many towers. Why? I mean, yeah, but level and items tell the tale. 18 level of Doom, 3,700 gold on the Doom, and that's just insane. I think once the Sentinel team saw the Radiance on a Spectre that's being pushed against, man, yeah, they knew that was the game. So I mean, I could pull out the menu, and I mean, if you look at 07, 06, 35, 11, 2, and 6, you might think, wow, man, MYM just got stomped so hard. But in reality, MYM was on the offensive for most of the game, and it's just through the great item choices, due to great skill builds for Moscow 5, they turned it around. I think MYM, they got a little bit out of position a couple times. For example, I think Milk died once to Doom in the jungle, which I missed. Maiden died once to Shaker, and those kind of death, you can't really... I mean, as a pushing lineup, you can't really just give up free death because you're going to be under level. You're going to be under gold because you don't have as many creep kills. So in the case that you even give up more free kills like that, it makes it really hard to get those kills in. I think Demon played a pretty good Enchantress in the early game, got some great ganks off the top lane, migrated to bot lane, got a push off. I think that's exceptional Enchantress play. But I think once those team fight happened and once your Undying got doomed, yeah, it didn't look good from that on. Also, they didn't... Yeah, that's all I'm going to say to that. Also, MYM trying to go a little bit cutesy, double Necronomicon strat, but that never worked out. That never worked. Yeah, I think Actually, MYM might have gone for some. They want to stack Necronomicons, but unfortunately, they weren't able to pull it off. And I would be really happy for them to pull off because Necrobook is one of the most underrated item in Dota history ever. Well, pre 6.48 days, but you know. Anyways, going back to this game, Moscow 5 played it exceptionally well. I mean, it definitely looked grim, especially like I think 16 minutes in, they lost their base tower at top lane, but I hope I hammered it in. Doombringer is a good counter pushing tool if you get ahead. If you have a level advantage, if you have an item advantage, once you turn it on the Scourge Earth, once you have the Vanguard, you could just run in and that just scares the entire push away. Now in a lot of Chinese games and a lot of other European games, we don't generally see this happen because generally Doombringer loses the lane and falls behind. But in this game, God got ahead and he literally, no pun intended, just got godlike. God just got godlike. So I mean that, yeah. So that's it from me. This commentary, again, it's a little bit different from usual, but let me know whether you guys kind of like this commentary. I always try new things out, right? In that other commentary, I just didn't talk about shit at all. Like, I didn't talk about the game at all. In this game, I talked about skill builds, item choices, skill builds. Like, I put so much more emphasis on that, and hopefully that will help some of the newer players out there. And for the more experienced player, I think that might have shed also a couple more lights. I still believe Mania skilled the wrong thing. I mean, he might already see me later a couple of days and call me a scrub, but hey, right now it looks pretty bad. What else are some of the other weird skill build? I think Chen had a pretty awesome skill build. He maxed Test of Faith second, which we don't generally see, and Melk of course maxed wards by 8, which yeah, I want to point that out. It's when you're playing a pushing Pugna, you want that ward because it's just awesome. It didn't showcase a lot of awesomeness in this game because they kind of got stomped, but you know, you kind of get what I mean. You want that ward for pushing. Okay, enough skill builds. I hope you guys are enjoy this commentary. Again, check out my new show. It's not gonna be in this channel that you're watching. So if you're not subscribed to, I never talk about I never say, hey, you know, subscribe, rate, comment. I never do anything like that because I think that's kind of BS. But if you want to catch my new Dota weekly show, I recommend you to check out my other channel, Luminous Studios. And also check out the link below, which is the Dota highlight blog, which again, let's say if you don't want to watch a 1 hour commentary, or if you don't want to watch 1 hour replay, there's a low calorie version, you know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes long, and then you could see how the entire game progresses. So that's it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the analysis and the game as well. And until next time, this is Luminous signing off. See you guys.